The canyon fire leaves hillsides charred and forces thousands of people to evacuate their homes. But good news just came for evacuees. A live report from the burn area next.
And just in, the School of Cinematic Arts makes a decision on whether it will accept Harvey Weinstein's $5 million donation, how a student petition played a major role.
And the LA Metropolitan Water District votes on a new project that would bring water to Southern California. The decision could mean higher taxes. We'll hear from both sides.
Annenberg TV News is next.
Live from USC, you're watching Annenberg TV News.
I wanted to get home to my cat, but they tell me they're even rescuing my cat. Can you believe that?
Thousands of people are forced to evacuate their homes as the canyon fire leaves a path of destruction throughout Orange County. And just now, some good news. Fire officials say Anaheim residents will be allowed to return to their homes tonight at 7 o'clock. Good evening, I'm Will Farnsworth.
And I'm Brittany Hope. Annenberg Media's Addie Stafford is live in the Santiago Canyon burn area where the fire scorched hillsides. Addie?
That's right, I'm here at Santiago Canyon right behind me where all this dirt has been actually changed to soot. Canyon Fire 2 made its way through this area just yesterday and all this brown dirt has changed to black and white charcoal and ash, as you can see from some of the splotches here behind me. There's also some red splotches here behind me, if you can see, and if you don't know what that is, it's actually a fire retardant chemical that helicopters have been dropping. They've been in and out of this area for the past 2 hours since we've been here. Now it's important to know, and it's great for us, that there's no plumes of smoke or flames behind us, and that's because the fire in this area has actually been put out at this point. And the fire in general at this point is 25% contained, but some of those evacuation orders are still in place for some residents. 5,000 homes in total have been evacuated, and 24 structures, including homes, unfortunately, have been completely destroyed, and another 22 structures have been damaged as well. Now take a look at this map here. These are some of the areas that were affected. The fire affected a very concentrated area, actually. It affected Anaheim Hills, Orange Park Acres, and Tustin as well. And all the residents in those areas have mainly been evacuated. But some good news from fire officials. At 12 p.m. today, they actually stopped the forward progress of this fire, which is great news, actually, because some of those evacuation orders can be lifted. And in fact, for Anaheim residents, at 7 p.m. today, they are able to return to their homes. So some great news there. And we'll have some later updates for you guys from our reporter Ryan Thompson later on in the broadcast. But until then, for Annenberg Media, reporting from Santiago Canyon, I'm Addie Stafford. Back to you.
Thank you, Addie. Thousands of Orange County residents spent another day at makeshift evacuation centers. Among the thousands who were displaced by the fire, about 24 evacuees found shelter at El Modena High School in Orange. Volunteers are helping residents by providing food and Wi-Fi service. One woman said she left after seeing flames in her neighbor's backyard.
About 1 o'clock, the policeman knocked on the door and he said, "You have to evacuate." I said, I got nervous by then.
This disaster is a little more personal because it didn't catch us off guard. We always think we're prepared, but you're never prepared to say, okay, get out of your building and go.
Fire officials said that the fire is 25% contained as of late this afternoon. And again, we will have the word that evacuees will be allowed to return to their homes tonight.
Chapman University canceled classes and closed its campus because of the fire. Late word tonight that classes will resume tomorrow. One Chapman student we spoke to said it was very difficult to breathe.
Yesterday, it sort of felt like an apocalypse, if I'm going to be honest. Like we were being enveloped in like a huge cloud of smoke, and the ash started falling from the sky. Eventually, they're going to have to be like, classes canceled. It's completely unsafe for us to keep being out in the open.
A representative from the school told us why the administration canceled classes.
The decision was made at 2:30 in the afternoon to indeed cancel classes for the remainder of the day through Tuesday. And it was driven in large part by the air quality. At that time, the fire was 6 miles away, so the structures were not in danger, but the air quality was horrendous. So for the safety of the students, that's the reason why. It's always about the safety of the students.
Once again, we have late word from City News Service that Chapman University classes will resume tomorrow.
Fires continue to race through Northern California wine country, where at least 15 people have been killed. 17 separate fires started burning Sunday night, covering a 200-mile region. More than 20,000 people have been forced to evacuate their homes. Power outages shut down gas stations across the area, so 240 National Guard members helped transport fuel to first responders. Governor Jerry Brown issued a state of emergency for 8 counties. Again, at least 15 people died as a result of the fires. 2,000 homes and businesses have been destroyed. Authorities are still working to determine the cause of the fires that are still out of control. The fires are concentrated in the wine-growing regions of Napa, Sonoma, and Mendocino counties. Vice President Mike Pence visited Northern California today to pledge his support for those who lost their homes.
I want to say to the people of California and all of those that are in the path of these advancing wildfires that we are with you, we are standing with you, and the American people will have the communities that are affected in our thoughts and in our prayers in the days ahead.
Today, President Trump ordered federal aid to help recovery efforts in the affected counties. Another woman has stepped forward accusing film mogul Harvey Weinstein of sexual assault. Attorney Gloria Allred announced this morning she will represent the woman in her lawsuit. Former actress and screenwriter Lizette Geis said Weinstein assaulted her in his office at the Sundance Film Festival back in 2008 when she was trying to pitch her film. Geis is one of many women who are trying to expose Weinstein's actions. Angelina Jolie and Gwyneth Paltrow are 2 other notable actresses who say that Weinstein took advantage of them earlier in their careers.
USC's School of Cinematic Arts announced today that it would not accept a $5 million pledge from Harvey Weinstein. This comes after more than 200 students signed a petition urging the school not to accept the donation. In a statement, SCA said that the school, quote, will not proceed with Mr. Weinstein's pledge to fund a $5 million endowment for women filmmakers. USC senior Tiana Lowe started the petition.
And I was hoping that the immediate response from the university would be to disavow and cancel the foundation. And obviously that's not what they've done yet. I think it's about justice for all. It's about the idea that universities are supposed to be moral arbiters and civic gatekeepers to an ethical society. And in accepting that money, we are granting out an indulgence to Harvey Weinstein and to his horrible, monstrous behavior. There is a civilizational price to pay for these crimes, then I think that will actually deter individual rapes.
On Twitter, Tiana Lowe said USC's decision to reject Weinstein's pledge was, quote, amazing news. And now we have with us in the studio Tara Shiv-Kumar, the president of the USC Women of Cinematic Arts. Tara, thank you so much for joining us today.
And thank you so much for having me.
And as you know, it was just announced that the USC School of Cinematic Arts is not going to accept this massive $5 million pledge from Harvey Weinstein. As president of your organization and also as a woman in the film school, how does this make you and members of your organization feel?
Honestly, it feels really good because it finally feels like things are changing and that sexual assault allegations are being taken seriously. Like, he's getting fired from the company. His name is being taken off of most of the projects that they have in development. Like, it finally feels like there is justice being served. And to the point that it's a large donation, actually the George Lucas donation for diversity at the school is $10 million. So it's really like we're getting that money from other places regardless. So nobody really loses, and we held up the ethical standard of this university in doing so.
Right, and lately there's been this trend of powerful men in the entertainment industry who are finally being outed for allegations of sexual assault. First it started with Bill Cosby, now it's Harvey Weinstein. Do you think that this ends with them, or do you think that there are more powerful men and powerful execs within this industry who are just waiting to be outed?
I think that this is just the tip of the iceberg. When there is power and when men feel like get away with taking advantage of that power, it's going to happen. And we've seen that people that are talking about this, just like I know that George Clooney said that he didn't expect this from from Harvey Weinstein, and it's just exactly the tip of the iceberg, and there's so much more to be found out, I think, because of the abuse of power.
So how has this latest sexual assault scandal affected the women at our own film school? Do you think this is a call to action?
I do. I think it's a call to action in that I think that women can band together about this and see that there's active change and that people aren't just pushing this aside. And but I also think that it's hard to see all of these things happen all the time, and we really need to come together and support each other in the ways that men aren't necessarily supporting us in this industry.
Right, and bouncing off that point of women banding together and women supporting other women, how can women, not only in our film school, but people who are already in the industry and people who are hoping to join this industry, how can they bound together and work for a better tomorrow?
I think it's all about listening to people. I think it's about empathy, and I think it's about not necessarily making your story the focus of everything. Not everything has to be about you. Sometimes it's okay to showcase other stories and other voices, and I think that that's what this industry needs to sort of push towards, and I think that women are the people who are going to be able to do that.
Perfect. Tara, thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for joining us. Let's throw it back to the desk.
Coming up, some tips on how to stay safe when air quality is unhealthy during this fire season.
And find out more about the new LA Times editor-in-chief, what this means for the newspaper.
Plus, the LA Metropolitan Water District funds a new project set to bring water to Southern California. But how much will it cost taxpayers? We'll tell you why next.
Recently, our country has witnessed catastrophic devastation. Hurricanes and flooding have upended lives and livelihoods.
Across this great country, Americans have answered the call.
That special calling that compels us, when others are down, to step up and do whatever it takes.
America's at her best when, against all odds, we come together and lift each other up.
Please donate to oneamericaappeal.org. America needs you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Listen, I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you judge me for having a problem. No one is going to know that I need help. I need help. I know that no one is going to judge me for having a problem. I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you listened.
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right?
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
The LA Municipal Water District voted today to fund a major project that would bring water to Los Angeles. But as Ariel 2 shows us, not everyone is happy with the decision.
No tunnel rate hike. No tunnel rate hike. Water is a human right. Water is a human right.
This morning, protesters stood outside the Metropolitan Water District building in downtown LA. They were demonstrating against today's vote on a water project that will cost an estimated $17 billion.
We cannot afford boondoggles like the tunnels, which won't provide us any new water. We need to invest in projects that will give us new water.
The project would dig two 35-mile-long tunnels under the Delta in Northern California. Supporters say the tunnel will be a more reliable way to transport water to Southern California. Both sides had the chance to express their views before the vote.
The best option to ensure an adequate and reliable water supply for tens of millions of people who reside in Southern California and the millions who come here and visit.
This infrastructure has been greatly deteriorating. For many years, we've been placing band-aids on the issues. The reality is all these small fixes cannot and will not meet up to the challenges we are facing today.
We will demand transparency and accountability of how ratepayer money will be spent on the Delta Tunnels project. If you vote yes today, we will see you in court.
In fact, the Metropolitan Water District did vote yes today. Opponents say this isn't the end of it and are predicting it will never be built.
Environmental groups will continue litigation because they're not going to lay down and allow our salmon runs in California to be extinguished by this project.
Critics warn that the project could cost taxpayers an additional $10 a month. For Annenberg Media, I'm Ariel 2.
You know, Will, this weekend I was at the beach. I went to the beach yesterday. It was low 80s. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. It's been pretty awesome.
You know, I was at the beach myself this weekend on Sunday, and it was absolutely gorgeous. Let's hear our weather forecast from Taylor Elliott.
Thank you guys. You guys are right. The nice temperatures are going to stick around for just a little while longer. Let's take a look at our current conditions. Right now, we're at about 75 degrees. And looking ahead at tomorrow, in the mountains, it's going to be slightly cooler with about 62 degrees in Big Bear and warming up in the desert, about 89 degrees in Palm Springs. And in the valley, it's going to be in the 70s with about 78 in Thousand Oaks and 72 in Malibu. And back home at USC, we'll be at a nice 77 degrees. And looking at our 5-day forecast, we'll be in the upper 70s most of the week, with things starting to heat up this weekend. Smoke advisories have been issued in the Bay Area, Orange County, and Riverside County due to poor air quality following the Anaheim Hills and Sonoma County wildfires. Air quality is measured by the Air Quality Index, ranging from good to hazardous. The Bay Area is currently experiencing very unhealthy conditions, with Santa Rosa at 227 AQI and Mendocino County at 211. Southern California has moderate conditions with an AQI of 91 in Riverside County and 63 in Orange County. Conditions may be moderate, but Santa Ana winds have caused smoke to travel to surrounding areas. Each advisory came with a list of ways residents can protect themselves. They're encouraged to close all doors and windows and limit outdoor activity. AC units should be set to recirculate to keep smoke out. Residents should also avoid using whole house fans and indoor or outdoor burning appliances. Residents are encouraged to follow their local media outlets for any changes or updates. As I know, Southern California is hoping to lift this smoke advisory by tomorrow, but my thoughts continue to be with everyone up in Northern California.
Right. It seems like California has just been in fire season since this summer. My sister lives up in San Rafael, which is pretty far away from the Northern California fires, and she even has ash falling in her front yard.
We're hoping for the best in Northern California and Orange County. Thank you so much, Taylor. The publisher of the Los Angeles Times announced that former Forbes media executive Louis Dvorkin will be the newspaper's editor-in-chief. Louis Dvorkin was the chief product officer at Forbes. Before that, he was AOL's senior vice president of programming. He also worked at the Wall Street Journal, Newsweek, and the New York Times. But a USC professor and former managing editor of the LA Times views him more as a digital executive than a journalist.
He is a master of digital media, but he's not focused on the journalism that the paper needs to do, at least from what he said so far. So it was just announced today. It's probably too early to expect him to have a great editorial vision.
His official start date is November 1st. He will be replacing Devon Maharaj, who was fired 2 months ago. It's a pretty exciting month for sports.
Yes, it has been, Will. The Dodgers are moving on in the postseason race.
That's right, Brittany. I'll be getting to the Dodgers later on, but first we'll take a look at what the women of Troy are up to on the pitch. And the USC men's football team has a number of things to work on this week before they host the Utes. LA baseball fans can rejoice because the Dodgers are moving on to the NLCS. Sports are next.
You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. Why would you do that?
Probably okay isn't okay. Call a cab, a car, or a friend.
Good choice.
Every year, 40% of all food in the U.S. never gets eaten.
40%. That's almost half the food we produce.
Food waste is a serious problem. It impacts all of us.
And it's expensive. Your family is throwing $1,500 a year in the trash.
We're working hard to put food waste on the chopping block.
And you can do the same at home.
Learn how to cook it, store it, and share it.
Just don't waste it.
Go to SaveTheFood.com.
After 15 years of smoking, Eva Marie quit. There's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Head coach Clay Helton is aware that his team isn't playing up to expectations. Following football's 38-10 win, Helton said the team is nowhere near a finished product. The Trojans will need to play much cleaner if they want a chance to win their next couple of games. On Saturday, they'll face number 23 Utah and then hit the road to South Bend to take on intersectional rival number 16 Notre Dame.
Nowhere near finished product, just being honest. You know, there's going to be some things that we're going to see on this tape today that are going to frustrate you as a coach, and there's going to be some things that you look at and say, wow, we're progressing in this area.
Practice this week should allow the Trojans to regroup in the face of the many mistakes and miscues they suffered against the Beavers. It should also allow for some key players to rest up following their injuries. Now heading to the pool, senior goalie McQuinn Barron of the #1 men's water polo team picked up his second MPSF Player of the Week honor.
Well, I mean, I always try and make big saves to get my team going. I think that's the job of the goalie, but sometimes it leads into a good offense, which kind of hopefully helped.
In the team's wins against Long Beach State and UC Santa Barbara, Barron amassed 32 saves. With 962 career saves, Barron is quickly approaching the MPSF all-time leader in saves, Alex Malkus, who has 1,057 saves. USC has a bit of a break in their schedule. Their game on Saturday will be against the Alumni. They resume play again on October 21st. And the #6 USC women's soccer team is off to their best start since the 2008 season, which was the last season that they were the defending national champs. At 10-1-1, USC is undefeated in Pac-12 play. Their undefeated conference record is thanks partly to their stellar defense. USC has only allowed 8 goals this season. Redshirt freshman goalkeeper Kaylee Collins has 5 shutouts so far. Even if the team gets scored on early, the defense remains solid to allow their offense to take the lead. USC has had 5 comeback wins this season. And despite dropping their first match of the season of the Pac-12 play, the #3 USC women's volleyball team quickly rebounded with a 4-set victory against #12 Arizona State. Opposite, Brittany Abercrombie led the team with 25 kills while hitting .274 on the weekend. The senior from Carlsbad has 200 kills on the season. Second to the team is Kalia Lanier with 261 kills. USC is now 5-1 in Pac-12 play. They host Cal and Stanford Friday and Sunday of this week. And like many have predicted, the Dodgers have advanced to the NL Championship Series after getting the sweep over the Arizona Diamondbacks. In his first postseason appearance with the Dodgers, Yu Darvish sent 7 Diamondbacks into the dugout through 5 innings. Austin Barnes made a statement in the top of the 6th, taking Greinke yard. Kenley Jansen, the Dodgers' star closer, was responsible for all 3 outs of the 9th inning, ending the game with a strikeout against Goldschmidt. In the top of the 5th, Cody Bellinger takes a deep, nice pitch it's deep left into center field. His solo home run gave the Dodgers a 2-0 lead. In the bottom half of that inning, there's a pop-up down the first baseline in foul territory, and Bellinger dives into the dugout to make the catch and end the inning. The 22-year-old rookie out of Scottsdale, Arizona, has been a standout for the Dodgers. With his first home run in the postseason, Bellinger now has 40 home runs on the season. The Dodgers will take on either the Nationals or the Cubs in the NL Championship Series. Are you guys going to be watching this baseball?
Absolutely exciting doubleheader tomorrow night, Nationals and Cubs, and Game 5 of Yankees-Indians. Corey Kluber versus CC Sabathia. It's going to be a close one.
Definitely. What about you, Britt?
You know, for me, it's so great to see the Dodgers doing well. LA born and raised. I feel like my Dodgers are back. It's exciting.
There you go.
Thanks, Amy. And just ahead, we'll have a live report from the Canyon Fire burn area in Anaheim Hills. Stay with us.
ignore the subtext. It's on us to intervene in sexual assault. Because we can. Take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Hey, look, it's those guys. Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be?
Go and step out of the vehicle for me.
See ya, buddy. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
Welcome back. We now want to provide the latest updates on the Canyon Fire in Anaheim Hills. Annenberg Media's Ryan Thompson joins us at a very empty Highway 241. Ryan?
Will, a very abandoned Highway 241 indeed. That's because it sits right on the edge of the Canyon Fire 2 and has been a critical spot for firefighters and their efforts to contain this blaze. The latest update that we have from the Anaheim Fire Department is that the blaze is 25% contained. That's all thanks to the efforts of just over 1,000 firefighters on the ground and in the air. Now, as we entered Highway 241, an eerie scene, very empty, we eventually came across a number of fire crews in the middle of the highway. They were clearing brush that can easily help the flames spread. Other firefighters were removing charcoal debris that was burned and left behind. Now, the fire did pass through this canyon last night. It went from the east side over here to the west side. It was quickly contained, but as you can see from the dark mountain behind me, a number of charcoal and burned debris remains. On the ground, all this pink, this is fire retardant. This is from the efforts by fire crews in the air to contain the flames, or at least slow them down for the fire crews on the ground. And now, as of now, the fire has been stopped from moving west, so west of Highway 241 is completely contained, but the flames on the east side are still being battled by firefighters. And an update we got from Anaheim Fire Department just a couple minutes ago is that people will be let back to their homes if they were in evacuation zones in about 30 minutes at 7 p.m., but they are told to go slowly, proceed carefully, and be ready to see what's there. So that's good news, certainly. That's the latest from a very, very empty Highway 241. I'm Ryan Thompson for Annenberg Media.
Thank you so much, Ryan, again for that update. You know, it looks like things are starting to finally clear up in Southern California. It's a relief.
Very fortunate for the Anaheim residents being able to go home tonight. Pretty scary situation during the day, and at least they can go back, be with their families.
Right. I mean, even last night here in LA, we could see that smoke coming in through the sunset. So I'm really relieved that those firefighters are doing so well.
Yeah, huge relief, but still hoping for the best in Northern California as well.
And thank you again to Ryan for that work, and thank you for watching Annenberg TV News. From everyone here at Annenberg Media, I'm Brittany Hope.
And I'm Will Farnsworth. You can watch us on the web at uscannenbergmedia.com. Good night.
Great.
Love that.
Nice.
No,